So Bryan Seymour, you are an investigative reporter for Australian television, and you've done 138 stories about
Producer
Scientology.
said, let's have a look at Scientology here, because Australia is the first country in the world to recognise Scientology as a religion in 1983. They were banned, they appealed it to our highest court, and they basically come up with a judgment that says, you know what, no one can say they're not a religion, so they're a religion. And that means they don't pay any tax straight away.
Sure.
So we'd always known about Scientology in Australia. They have a long tradition, stretching back to the 50s. And I just kept doing stories, and it snowballed and snowballed to the point where Scientology tried to win me over. And Tommy Davis invited me to Los Angeles. And we filmed at the Celebrity Centre.
Yeah, I think it's important to hear from people who actually are Scientologists and are practicing their religion.
I interviewed his mum, Ann Archer.
I would say it's responsible for creating a sane and happy life.
And Tommy was constantly whispering in my ear and trying to bait me. And I knew that was going to happen. I'd seen the Sweeney documentary. And I went the other way. I was as polite as I could possibly be. And then they invited me down to the Flag Land Base in Clearwater in Florida.
The Mecca.
The Mecca. And I was filming in the Crystal Ballroom in the Fort Harrison. Mm-hmm. I was filming in the Superpowers building as it was going up, with Tommy all the while baiting me. But they never got anything they could use.
Right.
And they upped the antics. I was sitting in the back of our rental car one day. We were driving to some location. I said, you know what? I've never seen a Scientologist in a wheelchair. At the Celebrity Centre in Sydney, at any of the orgs. It just occurred to me out of the blue. Sure. We had a discussion about it with my camera crew, my sound assistant, and myself in the car. So the next morning, we rock up to meet Tommy at the Flag Land Base in Clearwater. And we pull up, and there's 6 steps up to a walk-in area in front of the big double doors, no ramp, and sitting on top of the stairs was a woman in the black uniform in a wheelchair. This is how we surmised they'd bugged the car. And I was hard not to laugh, but I walked up the stairs and Tommy's right there, and I said, Tommy, I was just thinking this. I hadn't seen anyone in a wheelchair in Scientology. And he said, gee, that's extraordinary. That's really odd, because we've got so many people with different challenges. I mean, we accept everyone in Scientology. Wow, it's amazing you would say that. It's so incredibly odd. It was a really over-the-top performance of shock and surprise. And I just thought, oh, this is so sad. And that's Scientology.
Yeah.
It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all front. It's all lies. Just a few months ago, I did a story on the opening of the Advanced Ideal Org in Australia. Miscavige was there. Outside, the black uniformed goons were getting a bit physical with my camera crew and I.
Don't touch the camera. You go back now. Go back. The police are here.
After about 3 or 4 hours, one of them leaned in when he knew we weren't filming, leaned in and whispered into my ear, we know you grew up in an orphanage. We know they gave you drugs. What's wrong with you? Why don't you kill yourself? This is what he whispered into my ear. Now, they've prepped someone, had the discussion. This is how we can try and unsettle Seymour. And I've got to say, and I hate to admit it, it did get to me a little bit. Just the awfulness of thinking that you can plan to try and throw someone off by throwing up childhood trauma at them and suggesting they commit suicide. That's what Scientology is. It's not some crazy sci-fi cult with a few celebrities. These are people who plan the destruction of critics and plan the total subjugation of its followers to take their money and take their industry and take their lives. It doesn't stop for them. It never stops.